y'all, it's Amanda and this is my Texas Zone 8 garden, and it's been a little while, but it is time to do a seedling update and maintenance video. Today we're going to be covering a wide variety, but specifically zinnias, marigolds, and elephant ears. Okay, so it's been a while since I did a seedling and maintenance update video. I think that is because we're in full-blown spring. We're actually getting to the end of our spring in the North Texas area, and I've been spending a lot of time outside in the garden, so I haven't spent as much time inside working on my seedlings and such. So what we're going to do today is, if you haven't seen one of my seedling update and maintenance videos, we're going to talk about all the current seedlings that I have going. I'll talk about successes and failures and how I'm doing continuing care on these seedlings. I run into a lot of people and I get a lot of questions regarding, you know, my seed sprouted and it's not growing anymore. My seed sprouted and now it's dead and fell over. You know, a lot of people, they can definitely get the seeds sprouted, but then afterwards, that in between time before you plant them out into your garden, there's all kinds of issues and going wrong. And I think that's because a large thing that we miss is the maintenance of seedlings, that in between after you start it and before you plant it out in your garden. So I've got some of my seedlings out here today. We're going to go ahead and start with the zinnias. Now, zinnias can be direct sown outside, and that is definitely something you can do. I'm a control freak, if you didn't know already. And I like to start my zinnias inside, and then I've got them all in their little seed cells, and then I can pop them out exactly where I want them, right beside, you know, a water emitter, like one of my drip irrigation emitters. It also allows me to give some of these seeds to my friend Kristen. Just allows me to control the entire thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through and look at the success of the zinnias that I've started, and then we're going to be potting some of these up for my friend Kristen so that she can plant them up in her garden. Now for me, I am just going to be planting directly from these seed cells into my garden. Not doing that today. We had a massive rainstorm come through earlier this morning, and it is a hot mess outside. I don't want to go out there and try to plant zinnias right now. So that'll be a later video later this week where I'll be planting multiple seedlings out into the garden. But let's go ahead and get started up with potting up. Okay, so potting up is basically just the idea that you're taking a seedling or a plant and you're potting it up into a larger container. This is helpful for multiple reasons. It allows more space to create a larger, more active root structure, which is better for your plant in the long run. It allows you to extend the amount of time that you are keeping a plant in a seedling form if you're not ready to plant it out in your garden. This is especially true right now for my northern gardeners who are still waiting for your last frost date, which tends, a lot of y'all said mid-May to end of May. So some of your seedlings might be getting much larger now, but you're not ready to put them outside because of fear of freeze. So if you pot them up to a larger container, that allows them to grow on in a more healthy habit than keeping them in these smaller little containers. I am going to show you later on some of my mint seedlings that have been kept in these little seedling containers too long, so you can see what it looks like if you do something like that. Okay, so let's talk about the zinnia varieties. We had a really good luck with most of them. I'm not going to go over like all the details on each variety. I'll just show you. Candy stripe, it looks like we had 100% germination over here. Let me go ahead and start, and you can see the roots coming out. This one is Cinderella Peach, 100% germination. Look at those roots. It's crazy cool. This one right here is Queenie Lime Mix, 100% germination. This one right here is Giant Dahlia White, 100% germination. This one right here is Queen Lime with Blotch. I only had 4 seeds left, so all 4 of those seeds came up. And then this one right here is Queen Lime Blush. About 50% germination. This happens every year with Queen Lime Blush. It just does not germinate the way the other ones germinate. So about 50% germination. And that's even with, oh, I see another one trying to come up. That's even with 2 to 3 seeds in each of these cells and still only got 50% germination. So that's something to consider when you're doing queen lime blush, I've just run into that multiple times with it, and I kind of just go with it now. I'm not sure why that is not a great, why it doesn't have a higher germination. I bought it from multiple places, so I don't think it's just like a particular company or anything like that. That's not what I've run into. Okay, and then over here, looks like Benary's giant coral. A couple of seeds didn't, a couple of cells didn't germinate, maybe 80% germination on that one. This one right here, Benary's giant wine, 100% germination. This one right here, giant dahlia white, maybe 2 or 3 that didn't, so maybe 80% germination. This one is giant dahlia white as well, and it looks like 1, 2 cells, so about 80% germination as well. I started 3 sets of the white, the dahlia white zinnias, because 2 of the sets are going to go to Kristen's house and 1 is going to stay here. Queenie lime orange, looks like 2 didn't, so maybe 85% germination on that one. And then finally Queenie red lime, and it looks all but 1, but I still see it trying to come up underneath, so it looks like this is going to be 100% germination on this one. So we're going to keep it pretty simple on this. I use a dry method when potting up. So I'm going to start with my favorite potting soil, which is called Burger BM7, and I get it from Homegrown in Farmersville, Texas. And yes, I am putting this whole, I think it's half a bag of soil on here, which is a lot of soil, but we're doing a lot of potting up today. So it's definitely going to take some time and a lot of soil. And then this is my soil mat that I use. It's on my Amazon storefront if you are interested. And basically what I'm going to be doing is, for these seedlings, I'm going to be potting them up into little 4x4 containers. Let me grab some of those real quick so you can see. I just keep my old nursery containers, little 4x4 containers. And basically I just fill them up, you know, just like that, not pressing them down or anything. Fill them all up. I'm not going to add a fertilizer at this point in time. This already has some nutrients in it, but I am going to be fertilizing these utilizing an Alaskan fish emulsion fertilizer, and I'll show you what that looks like at the very end. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in here to my little container, and you definitely want your seedlings to be moist when you're removing them. So I'm going to pull out my little seedling. I've got a little hole poked in there with my fingers, and I'm just going to nestle it down, add a little more soil as needed, and make sure it's firmly in place. And then there we go. Super simple and easy. After I finish each tray, I will be labeling each of these because they are going to Kristen's house. So I want her to be able to easily be able to tell. For all of mine that I'm keeping, I'm just going to like take out 6, plant them up for hers, and leave the remaining 6 in my Amazon sell things, because I do intend on planting them up in the next day or so. So let's go ahead and get all these knocked out. Okay, so got all of the zinnias wrapped up. I ended up not giving any of the candy stripe to Kristen because I can't imagine that that's a style that she likes. And then I combined the remaining seed cell trays so that I would be down to 1 container right here. So basically I just pulled out the seedlings and popped them right into another cell. So we're good to go on those zinnias. And then I've got all of Kristen's here down low. She's got 1, 2, 3, 3.5 trays of zinnias. So super awesome. So the next thing I'm going to do is marigolds, and I'm going to pot up some marigolds for Kristen as well. And I'm going to get these potted up, and then I'm going to show you a really cool thing I learned with toothpicks to kind of help out these longer seedlings. So let's go ahead and get them potted up with the same exact thing that we just for the zinnias. And then I'll come back and show you the toothpick thing. And then I'm also going to show you how I go about fertilizing all of these once they've been potted up. Okay, these marigolds are called cocoa marigolds, and I have them in gold, yellow, and orange, and they produce fully double blooms 2.5 to 3 inches wide and are excellent for cut flowers. They have extremely strong stems as well, and they reach about 36 to 42 inches tall. Okay, let's talk about these marigold seedlings. As you can see, they're very top heavy seedlings and they flop over. While I was at the Collin County Master Gardeners Association kind of garden thing the other day, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, one of them had these bamboo knot picks. So I ordered some off of Amazon and they look like this. It's just like a bamboo pick with a little knot at the top, and the knot comes undone very easily. So the idea being, and you might have to break off the tip of the bamboo, the idea being that you come in here to these floppy seedlings like this, stick the bamboo down in there, and then you come through and then you put the end with the seedling holding in there, you put the end back through the knot to hold it in place. A little tedious, but then you can adjust the height to hold up your marigold seedling. Actually, I don't really think I need to cut these at all. So I just pull them up. This one has several in it. I'm going to let Kristen thin them out as she wants. And just put it through the knot, and then it holds them up just like that. I just thought, when I saw that at the Collin County Gardeners thing, I thought, well, isn't that just the most genius little hack? And I mean, these bamboo square things were cheap. I've got a link to them below if in the video description if you're interested in them. But I mean, it comes in a pack of 500, so I'll have these forever. Like, done. Never have to buy them again. So just like that, and it holds your little seedling up so it doesn't flop over. Because I found that with marigold seeds, they will flop over and then grow back upright. And when that happens, it really kind of messes with the integrity of the stem, in my opinion. And so this really helps with that aspect. So I'm just pleased as punch with this, y'all. So let me go ahead and get these knocked out. Okay, got those all done. So I've got 5 trays of seedlings, not all entirely filled up. I mean, I guess I could take some of these and put them over here. Got all of the marigolds supported with the little bamboo skewers. So next what we want to do is we want to fertilize. And you want to fertilize pretty quickly after potting up. You've just given them a much larger reservoir in order to spread out their roots, and you want to encourage that to happen. I like to use Alaskan fish emulsion. Smells terrible, does a great job. You want to use it at about a half strength. So this is what I end up doing. I've got my watering can right here, and I take my fish emulsion just like this, and I literally just come in and I just put a little kind of glop in it. That's it. Nothing fancy. And then what I will do is I'll fill this up with water, and then I'll take this one can and I will divide this one can between all of these trays. Put a little bit in each one until I'm all out. Once I've done that, then I will fill this can with only water, no more fish emulsion, and then I'll fill the trays up with the remaining fresh water to disperse more of that fish emulsion through them. I don't want to over fertilize and shock them, so that's why we're doing this at about half strength. So let's go ahead and knock that out too. Okay, so I'm just going to start pouring into each of the trays. I usually count 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I just put whatever remaining, just divide it. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right, and then at this point I fill with fresh water and just fill up these trays until they're about 50% filled, with the exception of the ones that don't have as much plants. Those are going to have less than 50% of water. Okay, and these are good to go, and I'm going to go ahead and get these settled back under my grow lights real quick. Okay, that's good. Let's talk about a few other seedlings I've started. Specifically, let's talk about mint. Let's talk about elephant ears, and let's talk about the heirloom chrysanthemums that I started from cuttings that I purchased from Clara Joyce Flowers. Okay, let's talk elephant ears. So I started 3 varieties of elephant ears from the bulb this year and had great success with the Walmart varieties. They're all doing really good and they're putting off baby pups, lots of new leaves. They're all doing nice. I had 2 of those that I started. This leaf's a little wonky. I probably need to trim them off. But they've done really well and I'm getting to the point where I'm going to be maneuvering them outside. I also bought a couple of varieties from Costco and I got nothing. I treated them the same way I treated the Walmart bulbs, like nothing. I have one of the Alohas that has like a very tiny itty bitty green spot. Everything else, maybe a little something on the white lava. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I've done. I don't know if they've been too dry, but then these have been fine. I don't know if it hasn't been warm enough. I've had these inside. I'm not sure. And a little disappointed because that's a lot of money right there to have all 4 bulbs fail. I remember thinking when I had them that they weren't super firm, so they might have been like overly dry. But anyway, this is kind of where we're at. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to just hit them with a little bit of fish emulsion to give them a little bit more fertilizer boost to see if it helps out these 4. I've been growing them on a heat mat like some of y'all suggested because they do better that way. These guys I'm actually going to go ahead and shift outside so they can start getting used to the warmer weather outside. And these are going to be getting planted on the back porch very soon. Okay, next I want to show you guys my mint. This is, I believe it's Marvelous Mint Mix from Baker Creek, I believe. And I just want to show y'all, this is an example of mint that's things that have been left in their little seed cells too long. These definitely need to be potted up. You can see that the foliage is discoloring. Looks like I might be getting a little bit of bacterial fungus issue down in here. So definitely not looking good. I probably should have potted these up like a month ago, but here we are, ready to go. So let's go ahead and get these potted up now. And I'm just going to be potting them up the same way I was doing the other ones. I'm just going to do them in little 4-inch containers just like that. And then we'll be gently pulling them out. And I'll send some to Kristen's house and some will stay here. But they should do much better now that they have more room for roots. You know, truthfully, I think I might pot these up in the little quart containers instead. I think they need even more space than these 4-inch ones. Yeah, since their roots are so vigorous, I think I'm going to pot them up in a little bit larger container just so that they have more space to spread out. Let me go ahead and get that knocked out. So one more time for y'all with these kind of quart containers. And I am going to hit these also with the fish emulsion that I've been using on everything else. And I do think that these are going to go straight outside instead of being in here under the grow lights. I probably should have taken them out a long time ago as well. Okay, got those all potted up. I'm going to go ahead and move these outside to grow on. Okay, so let's talk about the about the heirloom chrysanthemum cuttings from Clara Joyce. They haven't been real great. They were just so small to start off with. I wasn't used to that. I've gotten much bigger ones, like triple that size from King's Mums. And then when I bought from Bluestone Perennial, I've got a 4x4 rooted plant. So I'm a little disappointed in these. Let me bring y'all in close so you can see what's going on. Okay, so some are fine. This jackstraw right here, beautiful. Then another jackstraw right beside it. Maybe one tiny, like all the original leaves died. And one tiny leaf there. This jackstraw is okay. This jackstraw is okay. The next variety is Gertrude, and I have one Gertrude, looks okay. This one is still struggling on, but all of its leaves died off. This Gertrude lost its initial leaves and then put on some new growth, and then this Gertrude seems fine. Back over here, the Frosty Mum. All the leaves died, and we've had a little bit of new ones. This one is completely crunchy. This one looks great. And this one looks like it might be trying to put on one brand new leaf there, but that's kind of it on there. Let me bring out the other tray. All right, for the other tray, this whole variety is the cranberry wine. All 4 of these look fine. So I'm not worried about those. They're doing okay. Everybody's staying well watered, and I have hit them with some Alaskan fish emulsion. Okay, so what do I think? I mean, I always err on the side of that I messed up, truthfully. I usually do, because I'm not an expert gardener in any sense of the word. I am very much an amateur gardener just trying to figure things out. However, I feel like the product that I started with was not awesome to start off with, so I feel like that has played a factor. Am I going to get some plants from this? Absolutely. I'm totally going to get some plants. Am I going to lose plants? Yeah, about $25 to $30 worth of plants. Remember, these are $5 each. And I know that that is not a big deal for most people. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for me to spend on a plant, on a little bitty cutting, $5, and to receive that quality. I'm just kind of like, meh. Am I going to contact Clara Joyce Flowers and chat with them about it? I think so, because they still have one more set of, one more variety that they need to send me that they did not ship in this last one, and it was the Alexis variety. And I think I'm going to go ahead and send them an email, just send them some pictures and refer to the video so that they can see what it originally looked like when they got here. And they weren't rooted in as much as you would think. Especially when you just saw me handling like some of my other seedlings, my zinnias and my marigolds and my mint and all that. You saw those root systems were intense. That's what I'm usually used for when I get a rooted cutting in, a rooted cutting. And when I pull it out of the container, it shouldn't all crumble to pieces. It should be rooted in better than that. And maybe it's just, maybe I just got a bad batch. I don't know. Maybe it was in the mail too long because they were super dry in those tiny little packages. Whereas like the King's Mums come packaged in cellophane so the roots stay moist the entire time that they're in shipping. Whereas these were just in little cut containers. They definitely were not moist. They were bone dry by the time they got to me. There could be a lot of different factors. Maybe Clara Joyce is just trying to figure things out and they'll learn over time. King's Mums has been well established for a long time, and I'm sure it's taken them a while to get to that point that they are. I'm not bashing Clara Joyce at all. I have no doubt that they produce awesome product. It looks like maybe 60% of the product I got is going to work out. So that is awesome. They definitely had varieties that I could not find elsewhere. So that's also very cool. We'll see how these do, and then I will keep you guys updated on that as well. If you have purchased from Clara Joyce and you had better luck than me, let me know. Let me know how it went. Just so maybe it's a me thing. I mean, that's absolutely possible. That happens a lot in gardening where it's just, the gardener screws up. I screw up on seeds all the time. All the time. So that's good to know too. Another quick update. I totally forgot about my birdhouse gourds, y'all. We got to get these planted. So I kind of created a little bit of issue, and they don't like their roots to be disturbed. And then, those are my loofah. This is my birdhouse gourd ones right here. So I think real quick, I'm going to go ahead and pot these up into larger containers for now because I'm not at a point where I'm going to get them planted up. And some of these are going to go to Kristen's house, specifically the loofah. So I'm going to go ahead and pot up a few of those as well. Not all of them, but most of them too. Check that out. I think I need to hold it in like this and then just let the soil fall around it so I can hold it up so that I don't squash or mess with the roots too much. Just like that. Because I don't want to push it down, like what you saw me doing with the zinnias and marigolds, because that won't be good for them. So I'm just going to hold it like that. And then the loofah, let let's see how this goes, y'all. Woo! Okay, so I'm going to use that same method that I was just using where I kind of hold it towards the top. Now the birdhouse, I started 4 of them and I had 3, actually I had 4 germinate and then the 4th died. I'm not sure why. It just did. Okay. So that covers everything that's currently inside. I want to once again really emphasize fertilizing your seedlings. You cannot just leave them in those little seed cells forever without giving them nutrients. If you're someone who uses seed starting mix to start your seeds, that has 0 nutrients in it, so nothing that the seedling needs. And so that's why you definitely have to apply a liquid fertilizer to it. I use a potting soil and I still need to apply a liquid fertilizer. So if your seedlings have gone stagnant, meaning you haven't seen any growth in them, they need fertilizer, all right? If they sprouted and then they've done nothing else, they need fertilizer. And maybe they've grown really, really lush and now they're not really doing much of anything. They probably need to go pot it up and then more fertilizer. So definitely make sure that you are not forgetting to fertilize your seedlings. It makes all the difference in the world. Now, if you're growing your seedlings quickly, like my zinnias, I started those zinnias. Half of them I potted up and watered with fertilizer. The other half I left in the seed cells because they're going directly out into the garden. So I don't really need to go and apply another round of fish fertilizer. I think I've had those going about 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, maybe longer, and I've hit them with 1 round of fertilizer in that time. All right, y'all, let's go outside and check on the seedlings that are outside that I have failed to plant in my garden. Okay, so some of y'all probably watched one of my latest videos where I cleaned up my back porch and kind of got all my seedlings and plants in place. So let's talk about what I've really screwed up on. The dahlias. The seed dahlias are a hot mess. I've forgotten to fertilize them, take care of them. They've got spider mites. This whole group is probably gone. This group is still looking okay. And so a lot of these are going to be getting planted out in containers that are going to be here on the back porch, over here, and then over on this side. And then in some of these containers, I'm going to be pulling out all of my winter annuals like the violas and alyssum, and we'll be filling those with seed dahlias as well. Let's look over here. I got a lot of my caladiums are coming up beautifully, and we'll continue with those. This right here is a toothache plant that got ravaged by some sort of insects. I'm going to be cutting these back and putting these into pots on the back container as well. Tons and tons of calla lilies. Well, actually, I think a lot of these right here, these are caladiums. Yes, these are caladiums coming up. Back here is all callas. Those need to get planted up as well. I started all of those from tubers and rhizomes. Still have more amaryllis. Still have more coleus. I don't know why I said amaryllis. Those are doing really nicely. Got to get those potted up. My amaryllis are very happy in their container, doing beautifully. I do still have some leftover verbena that needs to get taken care of. Some leftover cleome that needs to be potted up. Over here, I have, looks like I've got spider mites all over my coral berry plant. That's not good. So what I need to do on that, and that makes sense because that whole tray over there of those dahlias, I just need to get rid of. This whole tray is in bad shape with the exception of some scabiosa right there. So what I really need to do is this tray right here just needs to get thrown away. So I'm going to just put it out for now. And then I'm going to hose this coral berry down before I go inside and knock off a bunch of the spider mites. And then back here you can also see I've got my creeping thyme just ready to get potted up. I also have this sweet shrub, which I was growing from bare root, doing really well. Over here I still have some nasturtium that needs to get potted up as well. But this is the last of my seedlings with the exception of the ones inside. Doing good, but really need to be going to the ground. It's going to be a big goal, getting a bunch of this potted up prior to the garden tour. I don't think I'm going to plot up the caladiums. probably going to wait on those, but pretty much everything else is going to get arranged. And I'm about to work on some containers over here that are really just going to get filled with lots of stuff that I grew from seed, which will be a big money saver, but also just really nice to clear things out. I see a tiny little lilac pepper starting. Oh, that's so cute. Yeah, it's time to get all of these cleared out there at the end. They usually get spider nights violas once we get warmer weather. So I need to get all those cleared out and get all of these pots refreshed. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Sorry it's been so long since I did a seedling update maintenance. If you're starting things from seed, probably the most important thing you can do is continued care on your seedlings. Don't forget about them. So you got to see a wide range of successes and failures on my part. Areas where I had left things in the seed cells too long. Other areas where I was suffering from spider mites, the cuttings, the mum cuttings, which aren't doing super great, but then lots of successes like the Zinnias and the Marigolds are looking absolutely beautiful. And then still lots of beautiful seedlings on the back porch ready to get planted up. All right, you all, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Drop me a comment below. Let me know how your seedlings are going. Are you done starting seeds for the time being? Or are you going to be starting some more soon? I am about to place an order for all of the seeds that I want for fall container planting or fall plants in the garden. And I will be doing a video on that showing exactly what I'm going to be ordering. And then I'll probably be starting those come June. Probably June, getting those all started and going. So you guys will be able to follow along with that. All right, you all, as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Every time you like and comment, it helps grow my channel so much. Also, I just really enjoy hearing from each of y'all every day. And be sure to check me out on my social media outlets, including Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. As always, she's a mad gardener or a decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.